by the Pledge of Allegiance by Marla Young. So, our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee at the end of this summer in this great nation and in this great county, we appreciate all the volunteers and all the things that people do for our good. May we be humbled enough to accept the people that have went on before us and that have brought us to this point. We are so grateful for our armed force services that keep not only us free, but other nations as well. For our local deputies and sheriff that also watch out for our greater good. Can we have a special blessing today on our firefighters, not only in our county, but in our nation, that as we mourn the loss of a brother from Utah that was out fighting fires for another community, maybe step back and realize that most of the volunteer firefighters are doing it for their communities and other communities without pay. And if it's pay, it's not enough. Please, Heavenly Father, please watch over us as we get into this fair season, as we celebrate the harvest and celebrate the good things, that all the things will go off without a hitch, and that we might once again celebrate and realize that all things good come from Thee. And we ask these favors and blessings humbly in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Oh. Looks like I'm looking for an approval of minutes.
I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 1st, 2018.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Administrative review reports, future agenda items. Have you got anything?
I don't.
We're just going to have an update. The fair concert starts this week. So on the 18th, Saturday night, come support Honor Flight. It's going to be a good show. Keith Anderson does an amazing job. And then come to find out, our warm-up show actually is married to a girl from Fielding, Utah. So Chance McKinney's married to a Butler girl. Didn't know that, but he won the Nashville Star last year, and he'll be up here too. So come on out Saturday night and support a great cause, and hopefully have a great time. So far we haven't been disappointed. And then get ready for the next week. Take a big long breath and get it going. So we got a thing from yesterday from the livestock committee that we're up over 1,000 animals that could be auctioned. So that's 250 animals more than what we had last year. So if you're going to go to the auction, bring a cushion. Could be a 12-hour one, but we're good to have people come and sponsor it. And last year, I think we were just over $1.2 million raised for the kids. So I just can't believe with a community of 50,000, we have that much support. So we're the envy of the state, to say the least. So we appreciate everybody that has anything to do with it. And thanks for Tremont and putting up with us for a week as we get that done. So you got anything else, Commissioner?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Corey, fire updates.
Well, we are having kind of a predicted year. Right now, from June 1 to now, we're at 73 fires. Total acreage is 99,212 or 16, give or take an acre or two.
Did you say 77 fires?
73 fires.
73.
I thought you were going to look at the clock and say, and 70.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as number of fires, we're seeing normal from previous years. Acreage is way up. A lot of that's due to the Goose Creek fire. When we have 133,000 acres and 50% of it's in Utah, then that really increased our acreage total at that point in time. Active fires right now, we still have crews on Rosebud. That's out west of Park Valley, mile marker 33 at the Rosebud. The state and the BLM has got a facility there that they house their fire equipment, but they didn't have any firefighters there at the time. They were off in other areas. So that was 326 acres. We've just got minimal crews on that. That should be finished up today. We've still got smoke coming off a little bit of Hansel Point, the Rosebud, and then the Birch Creek out west of Lynn. Other than that, everything's pretty sewn up, waiting for the afternoon lightning storms to come through today. So we've got more slated. We've got a big lightning belt that we're running this year, and it's coming from straight through Grouse Creek all the way up through Howell, and this just seems to be following that same track. Park Valley's been really getting beat up. They had 3 calls at the same time the other day, and I don't remember Park Valley ever having 3 calls in a week, let alone all at the same time. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. We are getting inundated in the office with people upset of the burn permits and allowing agricultural burns to go on. As I've mentioned to you guys, there are 2 criteria that we can follow as far as that, and that is a clearing index, how high the smoke will go up in the atmosphere before it starts to dissipate. We've been enforcing the 500 clearing index forever, and that's really our one tool. And then the red flag warning and the red flag is actually extreme fire conditions. It has nothing to do with the red burn days that are listed on the news. So extreme fire conditions and clearing index of 500.
And you're handwriting all the tickets, so you're actually going out, you and Tiff are going out and looking at the agricultural.
Me or Spencer are, yeah.
Spencer, yeah.
We've got, the reason we're doing the tickets or those things is, and the whole thing is, that's to protect it from spreading into the wildland zones is what that is.
Yeah.
So if they're south of 10800, east of Highway 102, we've got a little block in there that we don't even go look at them because it can't spread to the wildland.
Yeah.
And that's what that exemption for, and that's what we actually do is go out and write a handwritten exemption if there's a possibility. So anywhere along Honeyville and that, yeah, we're going out there spending some time looking at the fields, handwriting exemption, letting people know they're responsible for any damages caused by the fire or the smoke. Once they light the match, they're responsible for everything from that
And
point
90%
forward.
of the things that are happening now are they're clearing the ground for land leveling.
Yeah, they're burning stubble fields. A lot of them don't like to burn, but if they're doing the laser leveling, that's the only option that they have at this point in time to make sure that it's clear and able to do their farming process.
Or they're changing their crop.
Yep.
So.
Yep, and that's something, like I say, even that's out of control of the fire marshal's office. We're to prevent fires. It's not. So they meet all the criteria set by the state for a burning permit. We have no choice but to issue one for them.
Well, and that's what I've been telling everybody. I said just because it's legal to burn just doesn't necessarily mean you should.
No, and we've been kind of giving the people that call in for the permits a heads up, just letting them know that we are receiving a lot of complaints from the additional smoke created. Even without those burns, we're going to have the same smoky conditions. That smoke belt comes up out of California, heads straight across, right across Utah, clear to New York.
Yeah.
So
Colorado.
it's impacting the conditions across the entire country right now.
Okay.
3,000-mile smoke plume is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the farmers are up against the water's coming out of the
Yep.
canal, and they've got to get things replanted. And,
Absolutely, they're between a rock and a hard spot too.
Right.
They're trying to do their work done, and we always get a lot of it this week, right before the fair. Things will settle down a little bit after that because they know next week there's no burning, and they're on a timeline too, trying to get their crops in for next year and
Right.
get their fields prepared. So,
Okay.
kind of where we're at.
So there's no burning at all during Fair Week?
No, there's not. So from Sunday night or Saturday evening at dark until the following Monday after the fair, there's no open burning at all in Box Elder County. Agriculture or anything else by the county ordinance.
I'll make sure the lightning people hear that from you.
Yeah, if you could do that, please. I'd like to actually attend the fair this year a little bit more than not repeat last
Couple
year's
years.
performance, okay?
Okay. That's awesome.
All
Thanks
right.
for all you do.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
We appreciate everybody. Really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll pass it on. Thank you.
Looks like we're at Beth Smith. Hey, you stood up before I even called your name. You're good.
From a
Good.
distance.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Just name and everything in the microphone and speak right into them, or pull it towards you if you can,
Okay,
so people can hear you.
it feels so close. My name is Beth Smith, and I'm the new CEO at Bear River Mental Health. I know Jeff very well, and I have to say, what a great guy and what a great representative from Box Elder County on our
Yep.
board.
Thank you.
He really is there for us, and he does his job well.
He's there for all 20 other boards, too.
Is he?
There's a few.
Okay, anyway, I'm here today because the State Division of Mental Health requires us to submit an annual plan every year. I've heard from Janelle that you guys have a copy of it. I'm sure you've read it cover to cover.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it was
Several
the most
times.
riveting read of the year. Anyway, I don't want to take a lot of time, but it does require a signature by Jeff, which I think we already have. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sent that back into Janelle.
Right. So no changes really to the grant except for a few, and I wanted to just kind of highlight the changes to the area plan this year, and then if you've read it before, then these are the only differences that you'll find. The first one, you know probably that through the legislature, they've been very concerned about suicide and suicide rates in Utah, and so they threw a lot of money really at crisis intervention and at what crisis response systems look like. And so our area plan has a bit of changes related to that. The first change starts with what we call a stabilization mobile response grant that we received and service that we now provide. We teamed with Box Elder, Cache, Rich, and then Davis and Weber counties. And what the grant allowed us to do was hire a master's level therapist and a case manager to deploy within 1 hour of a phone call. And that phone call can go to a statewide number and then get warm handed off back to us, or it can come to our crisis system and we're expected to respond to that call. The program itself is outlined in the area plan, and basically what it is they go into the home. We haven't really been doing that at Bear River Mental Health because there are some concerns with going into the homes of individuals. And the hope is that the police officers go in and make it safe, and then our team, which is more than one individual, so there's a master's level therapist and a case manager, go in and hopefully stabilize the situation. They also make a determination about whether or not the individual who's in crisis needs continued treatment. And if so, then they'll either go back into the home or bring that individual into our services. It's been slow to get started, but the numbers are picking up. Davis was responsible for the marketing on this, and we've kind of taken our own bull by the horn, and we've sent letters to clergy and made contact with each of our partner agencies to let them know that we have the service that we can provide. We'll see what happens with it. The other one that came out of this was not in the area plan, but I'm sure you'll be hearing about it.
Pull that mic up next to you.
I'm sure you'll be hearing about it. It's what is called
There you go.
MCOT, and that's a mobile crisis outreach team. The SMR is for 21 and under. The MCOT would be for adults. And we just had our first meeting with Davis and Weber. We would again partner with them on that. There's not much money that they're putting into it, but what we're finding is that we're probably going to have to take our separate crisis systems and combine them into one more robust, responsive crisis system that meets all the needs of what the state is asking us to do. The other thing that is not in the historical area plan is a little program that we've started in Logan. Jeff probably hasn't heard of this one yet. Moral recognition therapy. And it's a program, it's like a 12-step program that we had to get certified on that is for individuals coming out of the court system. All the outcome information and research shows that it's a very promising system. So we're going to watch that very closely over in Logan, and if it looks like it's working well, we'll probably bring it over here to Box Elder County as well. Other than that, just little tiny changes with sentence structure and things in the area plan, but do you have any questions for me?
You know, I don't. I appreciate all you guys do. Did you see that President Trump signed a 3-digit number for the entire
and
nation?
We've been watching that. We've
Okay.
been a little frustrated in Utah because there are probably 7 different crisis numbers, and
Well, throughout the
people
entire
are
nation.
confused. Yeah,
Same thing.
people are
So,
confused. But
and
that
I don't know
would
if
be
you
a
know
good
that
thing.
actually came from Utah, that they're the
You know,
ones
I
that,
didn't know that.
Yeah, Congressman Stewart and Senator Hatch coming through, representative from Tooele, Daniel
Yeah.
Thatcher, was
Well,
the ones
they
that
can
brought
make
it up
that
to the
happen.
nation, so
That will be wonderful.
Is that the 211?
Yes.
it's going to be 611.
611,
611.
right. It's like the 211, but So I'm not sure if there needs to be some kind of a formal acceptance. This is my first time here, or if just Jeff's signature
If it
covers.
came across the board and it's,
Yeah,
we've already
we
approved your,
typically, yeah, we typically ratify it.
Okay.
So
Okay, great.
I'd entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we ratify the Bear River Mental Health fiscal year 2019 area plan.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good to meet you.
And Beth, we
Come back
appreciate you. Reed was amazing, and Beth has stepped in, and things are running smooth. She's put her own kind of signature and style on it, and things are running great.
And really,
So,
if you need some, need some place for your therapist to go, they can always come to a commission meeting and watch us. And that's right.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you. Hey, it looks like we're to Sean and the boys. Come on up.
Thank you.
State your name and talk into the mic. And
Sean Warnke, Tremont City.
Zach Lefevre, Tremont City.
Thanks for having us. And by the way, we do appreciate and enjoy the fair in Tremont, and it's a great benefit and a great event. So thank you.
Yep.
So we're just here before the commission today formally to propose a project, and if you consent to the project, then we'll move forward, which is we've been undertaking a mural program. We received a lot of recognition. In fact, KUED is currently filming the mural that we have going on right now, and they want to do this one as well as part of the story, if, again, assuming that it's...
Is that one just east of Big O?
yeah, just right on the side kitty corner from my car wash.
Yeah.
I
Right.
stopped over and talked to Jason the other day while he was painting it. So
Oh, good. Yeah, it's coming along nicely, in my opinion. So this one's going to be a little different in the sense that we've used Jason in the past, done a wonderful job, and would love to continue to use him going forward as well. But we've had it recommended that we open it up along with other artists contacting us, requesting that we go through a process that allows others to be considered. So that's the plan with this next mural is to do just that. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So I don't know if you received the information. If not, I'll pass it forward. Give one to
Let's
Marla.
grab one
here.
on hard copy.
So this is the RFQ. It's the request for qualifications that we'd publish. As I mentioned, this would be an open process for other artists. The Division of Arts and Museum, who typically also funds murals, has requested that we go through this process. So this is the packet that interested artists would look at and respond with their qualifications. The proposed subject is the grand entry of, I think, the first rodeo. You guys probably know better than I.
Yep.
So, and the proposed location is at the county fairgrounds. We thought it was a great idea. It was suggested, and was a little concerned initially about just the projection of the image and it fitting on the wall, but we did a Photoshop, and it seemed
pretty
to
cool.
Yeah. So, in the past we've gotten easements, but since you're a public entity, we wouldn't necessarily expect that from you, and in fact the funds that we're using, come through the county as well, through the grant that we were able to obtain, which we do appreciate the TAB grants. They've helped us, launch this program as well. So
I was just showing him how it looks like on the building.
yeah, we did have to, there's some prominent figures, and I'm not sure how the artist would portray everything because they typically have to simplify, some of the murals, but
But that maybe just put your website on there and says if you'd like to know more information about who's in this picture, go to the website and they can pull it all up on your website.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
that would be nice. Yeah, with that, we do actually have a mural tour, and that's towards the back too, if you're interested to take a look at the murals we've done and things like that. So,
That's awesome.
anything, Zach? Zach did speak with Jan. And maybe
Yeah, so Jan had a quick conversation with her. I showed her the photo. she thought it was pretty neat, especially since her grandfather.
Her
is
grandfather
the
was in it,
picture.
yeah.
So she seems to be excited to move forward with that, hopefully. So, yeah, it's been a great undertaking with this project, with all the projects with the murals. So,
I think your little story you told me about where you grew up, you want to just hurry and recap that real quick?
yeah. So
The mic right next to you, there you go.
Yeah, I'm from Washington State. I've been in this community for a little over 5 years, going on 6 years. But I grew up in Washington, and there's a little community similar to in size to ours called Toppenish, Washington, and they have 74 murals in their little community. And in the past, they had a mural committee that went out and did fundraising and everything for their community. And so everything was privately raised for all of their murals. Their latest mural happened 2 years ago, but everyone has become so old and they don't have anyone new coming in that it seems like it's going to be coming to an end there, which is sad to see because of how popular they have been there. And so we're hoping to be able to create that same enthusiasm with the murals in our community that they have had up there in theirs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. No, we appreciate your time. I don't think you really need, do you need from us, or just, you already got the funds, so I think if Jan and them guys are saying it's okay to do it at the fairgrounds, do you have a problem with it?
That might be a question for Steve, since it is actually going to be on a public building,
Yeah.
because it is owned by the county. And so I'm assuming that we'd have to ratify it formally.
Okay, well, let's
I
ratify it.
personally don't have any heartburn.
Let's just ratify it pending his, okay then.
Yeah, I think I think it'll be a great addition. It'll make it, a little bit more aesthetic there. And I mean, it's portraying the fair itself and the rodeo, and it's right there. So, I mean,
It turned out way cool.
well, and with those stalls being used by everybody that comes in and out and up and down I-15, I think it's great. So,
Okay, I'd entertain a motion then.
yeah, I would make a motion that we approve the mural to go on the building out there at the county fairgrounds.
Pending Steve's.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Can't wait to see it. Thanks.
We just need to wait to get the formal, or you're going to talk to Steve?
Yeah, we'll check with him
Hopefully
for
Steve will be
sure.
here in a little bit, and I'm sure he'll say it's okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, that's us. CIP committee?
Yes. Down there. We had Mr. Germer, that's been on the CIP committee for a number of years, and we appreciate his service. And with some health concerns, it was time to make a change. Lyle Vance from Tremonton had been approached, and he agreed to serve on the committee, and so we just needed to approve the appointment.
Okay,
So,
I'd entertain a motion.
yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the appointment of Lyle Vance to our CIP committee.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott, and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we've got a scheduling problem with our September 19th commission meeting. We're just going to go the day before, so on the 18th, and it's the morning one, right? Or yeah.
Tuesday, so change it to the morning.
Yep, change it to the day before and then the morning.
We'll need a motion for that.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we switch the day on our second September meeting from the 19th to the 18th.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Tom Cotter. Please come on down.
So the first item is just to talk about the valuation notices that were mailed at the end of July. They went out So the purpose of those valuation notices is to inform the county residents, the taxpayers, of the anticipated tax that they will receive from the treasurer's office come November. But the main part is we want people to look at those, because a lot of times it just says on there, hey, this is not a bill, so people chuck it. We want people to look at there and look at what the market value is. That's the value that the assessor's office has determined that that parcel would sell for at a fair market value price. They've used different models, different things to get to that number. However, if for whatever reason the taxpayer, tax owner, parcel owner believes that number is incorrect, then they should come and appeal. And that's why those notices come out from my office, is because it's through my office that they appeal. So we encourage people to look at those, make sure that the market value is what it should be. And if they need to appeal, to come do that. They can file appeals online, come to my office, get a form, many different things, areas for them to do that. We also have meetings set up for an informal hearings where they can come and meet with appraisers from the assessor's office to discuss any concerns they have. We've had 2 of those so far, and we haven't seen that many people show up. We have 2 more that are scheduled in September for people to arrive and talk with. And especially residents that live in the Brigham City area, they may have noticed a large increase in their values. The assessor's office, they have reappraisal areas of the county that are broken out. In the past year, for this year, it was Brigham City and Manaway, so they get a pretty hard look by the assessor's office. And state code requires the assessor office to be within 10% of their values, of the market value. And if I'm saying anything wrong, Diana can raise her hand and scream out. And so during those models, the assessor's office realized that we need to bring values up quite a bit, especially impacting commercial. So people in Brigham City are going to see a large value increase. But with that, when values go up, the rate comes down. So the Brigham City rate goes down. The issue that happens is when you look at the county at the overall value for the county, it only came down, the rate came down about 5%, whereas in Brigham, their values went up 20%. So it's a little hard to play. But the good news is for those people living in Brigham City, the reappraisal happens once every 5 years. So the hard look, happens then. I mean, the assessor's office will keep them. They may factor values as well and hit some other things. So, but the big thing we just want people to know is, hey, if you have information that lets us know that our value is incorrect, please let us know. Like, we want to have the right value there, and it will impact them.
And how about the right parcel? We've had a couple of those in the last few years that actually been paying taxes on their neighbor's house, and the neighbor's been paying taxes on theirs. So,
yeah, and then we also want people to know, if you are on a fixed income, if there are struggles there are tax relief programs available. The state has one with the circuit breaker. It provides a great relief. The county has the indigent program. So there is help if our people are having. So as commissioners, if you're out in the community and people are hitting you up about that, just refer them back to us. We want to help. We want to make sure people are being treated fairly. Any questions about any of that?
The number of people that have come in, pretty typical, or are you actually seeing a lower amount, or you'll see more in the next couple of meetings?
It's hard to really say. Like the first meeting we had, there were a lot of people here for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So we thought, hey, we're going to really roll. But then no one really showed up. Yesterday we had 3 people come for 2 hours.
Wow.
So I don't know if people are just waiting, getting more information, and they're going to show up in September, or if they agree with the value that's been put. I just don't know. So it is lower than anticipated. Than we anticipated.
I honestly think, from my standpoint, property values have increased so dramatically over the last 2 years that even if they have seen an increase, I think that some people would actually be nervous that the increase could be substantially higher if a formal appraisal was done just on a house-by-house basis. And so it could actually be even higher.
Yeah, and I tell people, hey, if you come in, the assessor's office is not going to increase the value for this year.
Right.
They're not gonna ding you. And, the appraisers, they're really good to work with. They set up appointments with these people, go out, visit them, get the information. And, if people continue to disagree, they continue to appeal. They go to a formal hearing and
And to
the
the
tax
state,
commission.
and to the-
They
Yeah.
can go to district court if they so choose, if they wanted to. So we just want to make sure people understand that, hey, if you disagree with this and you have proof, everyone wishes, that they were paying $1, but not the reality of the situation. If our value is wrong and you can support what you believe it is, we want to hear from you.
Thanks, Tom. You're up next.
The next item is, a couple months ago, I met with both the city administrators from Brigham City and Tremont to discuss the senior centers and how their operations are going and what ways the county could potentially help there. Both those senior centers had been receiving funding from the county for numerous years. Tremont asked, hey, we've received the same amount over the past couple of years. What's the metric for it? And I dug as much as I could, and I couldn't find why they got what they got and why we do what we do. And so after meeting with them, it's hard on these because Tremont, they're serving a pretty large group of individuals that's coming from outside their physical boundary.
Right.
They're providing services a lot for people of unincorporated county, for Garland, for the different communities around them. They are all county citizens. And we appreciate what Tremont and Brigham does do for those individuals. So the question then becomes, as you look at the funding gap that becomes apparent from the revenues that are coming in to the expenses that are coming in, and that gap is, does the county have a need to start kicking in more of what we're sending?
Basically like an inflation like we do with other things.
Yeah, and if you look at, hey, really, Tremont has provided that service for those residents that are not in their boundary, they're outside in the unincorporated county area. So as I looked at it, I would recommend to the county that we increase the payment to Tremont to just under $54,000. It's a pretty significant increase. It's an increase of about 24 grand. We had been paying just under 30. But as you look at the services they are providing and who they are providing it to, I believe it would be my recommendation to the commission to at least do that. And I'd also recommend to the commission maybe they start looking at maybe different ways to look at maybe a county funding mechanism for all the senior services, or how you want to handle those. And Sean's still here, I hope. I can't see behind
Yeah,
him,
he's
but
behind you still.
I don't know if he wanted to chime in on anything or if you guys want to hear from Tremont about it, or if you have questions about the senior centers and what we're
Well,
looking
we've
at.
talked about it for a couple of years, and I think if we can find the funding mechanism to try to help them as much as we can, I think it's a good thing for, if you've ever went on Meals on Wheels with Tremont or Brigham City, you find out how far and wide they actually go outside of their own communities to help with the unincorporated. So,
Yeah, and Brigham, I should have mentioned, Brigham also provides services to many people
Right.
that are not within their boundaries. Tremont, though, provides a much greater
more rural.
percentage. Yeah.
No, I'm on the aging services for Bragg, and when we have our meetings and we have the different senior center directors there, it's a wonderful problem to have, but it still is an issue because the number of senior citizens and the number of people that are homebound is increasing dramatically. People are living longer with health care, and some of these individuals just they don't have anywhere else to go. Especially the Meals on Wheels. I mean, the people that come and deliver those meals are literally the only ones that they might see during the entire week when they're completely homebound. And so it's a pretty amazing service, and it's done on a shoestring budget. I mean, all of the volunteers that take those, it's on their own dime.
yeah.
And they do an amazing job, but it does still cost to provide the meals. And so,
Yeah. And so, as we go forward, as we start the budget cycle for 2019, just something for you to consider, to look at and have discussions with your counterparts, the
Yeah.
other council members, mayors of these cities, and
I wouldn't mind even having them come here, like you said, with your two directors, and have them come in front of us and the rest of the people and talk about, what they're doing with the funds and how much funds they're lacking and stuff like that. Because I would imagine that after seeing that, people wouldn't be hard pressed to let us do that and get them into that. I mean, that kind of a raise, they haven't had a raise, like you said, in how many years? So,
yeah,
That's-
it was. I know we've paid Tremont the same for as long as I've been here. So I think this is something that, as we look at the budget, I'm proposing that be built in, the Tremont level be increased for what it is. And all this stuff on here today is just for your information.
Right.
There's no actual. And the last item I had was just, as I've looked at the bookmobile at the county library, I noticed during this last tax rate season, as we set taxes, rates, and things, I saw where Brigham City was in discussions amongst their council regarding the funding for their library. I reached out to their city administrator, just asked, hey, would there be any interest here in maybe an agreement with us and them for those residents who live within the county library who are paying that tax rate, to maybe grant them access to the Brigham Library with the MOU between us and them, where the county library is paying for that service.
right.
So this is just to follow up on that, to see if there's, once again, just kind of as we look forward to the 2019 budget,
I think it's a good idea. Thanks for
see-
bringing that up. All
And I-
three of them, really.
I think Brad Rhodes was going to discuss it at your next library board.
Yeah,
before,
which
so.
is September something.
So anyway, just stuff.
No,
More fun
we
stuff for you
appreciate you bringing
guys.
that up to us.
In your discussions with Brad, would that change their routes, or would they just continue to go where they're going, and then Brigham, maybe Garland, Tremont, and Perry, anybody like that, they would still have access to those routes, but they would just have to go there? It wouldn't actually add routes.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brad's more concerned from the standpoint that his circulation is just continuing to decrease and decrease. And so he wants to make sure that people are having access to books that are reading, and that maybe this would be a good process to look at, that as we look even at other areas, maybe for unincorporated, not necessarily unincorporated, but the residents who are paying the county library tax, to also maybe enter in some type of MOU with Tremont, with Garland, with those municipalities that do have libraries, so those residents can use those facilities without having to pay I think Brigham charges $60 or $50 if you're not a resident to use the library.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So, anyway,
Cool.
Thanks, Tom.
you bet.
Scott Lyons.
All right. First item is a request for reimbursement from the Corridor Preservation Fund. This one, the project is CPF 17-01. The request comes from Honeyville City, and this one was for construction and maintenance at an intersection along 3600 West and 6900 North in Honeyville. The original amount approved was $77,000 based on an estimate from their contractor. Their final amount came in at $71,259.06. So they came in about $6,000 under budget. So they've submitted the invoices and documentation necessary showing that work has been completed, and they are requesting that amount be reimbursed to them through the Corridor Preservation Fund. So,
And if you want to take a look at it, it's just off the freeway headed up to Mays, right?
yep.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
Those are some detailed invoices.
That was a pretty good bid, too,
Yeah.
to be within that $6,000 on that kind of a project.
No, that's great. Okay, yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the corridor fund reimbursement to Honeyville City for the amount specified, the 71.
259.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
The second request comes from Tremont City. And this request is for transportation planning. The Corridor Preservation Fund allows for a certain portion of the fund to be used for transportation planning in both cities and the county. They put together a transportation master plan, and the request at this time is for $25,000 to cover that transportation master plan.
What is that compared to the counties? That seems really cheap.
Yeah, they kind of had a base in place,
Okay.
and so it was refining the plan. Their original estimate was $25,000. Once they finalized the full plan, it actually came back around 35. So where it was originally approved from the COG as 25, that's what's going through now. And then
Okay.
the other 10 is going to come back once the COG approves that additional amount.
Okay.
Okay, so this request is just for the original 25, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the reimbursement to Tremont City from the Corridor Preservation Fund for their master plan in the amount of $25,000.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Final item I have is the Wade Larkin subdivision. This is a subdivision in the South Willard area. It was originally just over 5 acres. They're splitting off 0.506 acres, so just over a half an acre with a home on it, and that leaves a remainder parcel of 4.466 acres. It's located along Highway 89 and 7550 South. So this has been through the reviews, county surveyor, engineer, planning and zoning, fire marshal, roads department, and the health department as well, all of them recommending approval. There was one item that we were discussing with the county attorney, so I don't know if we want to make the approval subject to his
Okay.
final approval. That would probably be the best thing to do. As far as that goes, the deed for that life trust, they have that drawn up, the title.
So they're just gonna go ahead and remove that then?
They're gonna deed that over at the same time that the subdivision is recorded. The title company has that prepared. So I don't know if you want the approval subject to that, or if you want to just move forward.
Probably safe just to make it subject to
Okay,
it.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion.
That's the only thing holding it up right now?
correct.
Is just that deed? Okay.
It would be recorded at the same time as the subdivision is what they have it drawn up and ready to do.
Once they get that cleared up?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the Wade Larkin subdivision contingent upon getting the trust issue worked out.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I need to sign that now, or do you want to wait till after he?
We can do it once you guys finish up.
Okay. Mitch?
All right, so
Thanks,
Sean's
Sean.
going to come up and help if you have any questions. But this is a amendment to,
State your name.
sorry, this is Mitch Zundel, Economic Development Director, Box
Thank you.
Elder County, and Sean Warnke, Tremont City Manager. This is the first amendment between Tremont City Redevelopment Agency and Box Elder County. Steve's taken a look at this. Everything looks good as far as Steve says. It's a clerical error. It's been done right in the way that the auditor's office has been moving funds and whatnot, but this is just fixing the clerical error. I don't know if you have any questions or on it.
I don't, do you?
So it's been done properly. It's just the wording in it hasn't been correct. And so we're just getting that straightened out.
Correct. I don't know,
Okay.
Sean, if you had anything
Grammar Nazi.
to add.
And you're good with this, Steve? All's well on your end?
Yep.
Okay.
That looks good.
Okay,
All right.
entertain a motion.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the amendment to the MOU between the RDA and Tremont and City.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
This one I've got in my hand has got the date on it. So the one I gave to you had a June date on it. So
Okay, you'll get me that one.
yeah. So
Do you want me to just sign this?
if you want to
one?
sign and attest, and then
Want we do it now or want we do everything else?
You can sign it now.
Jenica.
For once, I'm coming to you without a policy change.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the first item I have is called lateral transfers and leave balance accruals for public safety. So what we're looking to do is currently on lateral transfers, we bring them over 2 years of experience to 1. We are looking to add an additional benefit that would be leave accruals being accrued at a 2-to-1 rate also. So for the 20-year employee who comes over, he gets hired at a 10-year employee, he gets that salary, but he would also get
The accrued.
the accrual rate at whatever that 10-year would be. Another thing that we're looking into that we've learned that other recently adopted policy changes by other agencies in our county, they have started allowing negotiation processes at hiring with some of these public safety employees to allow them to negotiate to have a current balance of leave when they start. So if they have a pre-planned vacation or if they get sick, they actually have time to be able to take that off. One of the things that would allow us to do is through our field training program, we actually don't allow them to take any time off. But if they have a pre-arranged vacation that's been paid for and booked, they are allowed to take that, and then they would receive some compensation versus taking it without pay. So those are a couple of things we're looking at. I don't have a policy prepared. I wanted to get your feelings on it before we move forward.
Where it's really not costing us anything. It's kind of a cost negative, but a benefit.
So on that, if they did already have something scheduled, some leave, they move over here from another agency, obviously they wouldn't have accrued the time here yet,
Right.
Right.
but they have that plan, so they take the week off, and then they basically just replenish their balance throughout the remainder of the year through
What it
so
does,
much time.
it front loads the first 40 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they actually still only get whatever accrual rate they're on. If they're an under 4-year employee, they only get the 96 hours. But it front loads that 40 hours up front so that they can get some pay while they're gone,
Okay.
which actually helps us
That's what I was gonna
processing
say.
pay. So
So that I got sent another thing from Unified, just brand new, and they're doing this right now as a recruitment tool. We had a meeting with UAC, and this is what we spent 2.5 hours on, because everybody's in the same boat.
Was that in that policy committee?
Yeah, and the boat's sinking. So
fast.
we've got to start doing some things and thinking outside the box. Where's Mitch? I knew I'd put that in there somewhere. To be able to do some of these things that aren't going to cost the county a lot, but it is a benefit, a fringe benefit to be able to bring these people from. And it's just sad to say that we're having a tough time bringing these people in. I mean, everybody in Box Elder County is having a hard time finding people to work.
Right.
So, 6 years ago, 15% unemployment, and now we're at 2 point whatever it is. So anything we can do, in my opinion, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think it's a good thing if we can do that.
Park City, when we were up there, they've actually started a program where they are doing affordable housing. And the 4 priorities for their affordable housing are primarily related to essential services. So anybody that's in law enforcement, fire, teachers, and public health, they actually have the priority, and they can get into some of the affordable housing. The median home price in Park City right now is $2 million. And you can't get a contractor to build anything up there for less than $500,000. And so all of the people that are services related are living well outside the area, and it's getting harder and harder. They keep getting pushed further away. And so they had to do something like this just so that they can maintain the services for their citizens that they expect. And so, I mean, obviously we're in a little bit better situation because, I mean, it's a great place to live and it's still relatively affordable, but,
Yeah, it's coming.
yeah, so, no, I like the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so I,
Give us a policy.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
we can,
we'll proceed. and
Have
bring
something
that
written
back
up.
I'm
next
sure you
time.
talked to the guys in the back, so,
Yep.
okay.
cool.
So the next item I have is the NACO Nationwide 401k plan. We actually had a call with the Nationwide reps, and they actually have a few different plans, and they're going to be sending us
really?
information on that. They offer a 457. They offer a post-employment health plan. That's a 501c3 organization. And then they offer a 401a. So there are advantages and disadvantages to all of them. So once we get that information, we'll be back reporting those.
Let me know. I'm trying to remember his name. Was it Dave?
It was Greg Grieve that we met with.
Okay. I talked to the
And John
guy
Lamb,
from Nationwide about it down at one of the conferences, and they've got some innovative stuff, so that may help. I don't know how a 401a would work because that's technically a profit sharing plan.
So the way that they
Or money
presented
purchase.
it is just that the employer doesn't have to pay the FICA tax, and it still
Yeah.
has everything else is exactly the same as
Same.
a 401k. We just save the FICA tax.
Well,
So
once again, anything we can do to
Let
make
us
sure
know.
that our public safety people are here and happy and doing the job, that's, I think, what we're here for, so.
yeah, and we can actually open it up to all employees
Oh, really?
to allow them to contribute their own funds. So I think it's another added benefit for
I
our
think it's a
employees.
great
It
idea.
doesn't cost us much.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep. Do you want PAs now?
Please. If I say no,
When you see the stack, you'll say no.
except for me, yes, I do.
That's huge. I'll get some of these to you this week.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I guess we can do that. I think those are just Stanley.
What's that?
All those.
Yeah, those other two are just. Thanks for coming, bud.
It's funny that he's on the mental health board. And I think he's helped with the sheep auction probably since it started.
That's what I was just gonna say. Well, I'll tell you what, they're excited about the new sheep wash. You're gonna be a hero this year. Especially if the fans working there like they're supposed to. Can we do half of these next time? Wow. I keep giving them to you backwards, I'm sorry. I'll put them the right way now. Sorry.
doing it on purpose. Every other one's upside down.
I'd like to say I was doing it on purpose, but it actually wasn't for purpose. Yes, we can do it right now. I think I got done a little early.
I'm okay with that. I can just come down there if you want after. Just spread it out there so everybody can sign it. Looks like there's one of those up here if you got one. Is that yours? She's sitting here.
Which I think is awesome.
Hold on just a second.
Sorry, just beside that. Didn't we have commission meeting last week? Did we miss one?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what he wanted though.
Sir?
I got to the end of it and I'm thinking, okay. That's great. I agree with most of what you said, but what are you asking for?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was. When's Tremont City gonna get their stuff over by Maverick? Get their what? When's they gonna do their stuff by Maverick?
The stuff just across the street from it?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I need to talk to you about what maybe get some cameras. That overpass over by the high school.
What we passed by the high school.
I wonder if, she said something
So put an
about,
overpass
they had to put in something about
over those tracks?
certification.
At Forest?
No, not at Forest, the one.
Further south? What is that, 200 south?
I don't know what. Oh, shit. You sure? Chairman right there?
That would be
This one?
interesting.
That's where he's thinking of putting that one.
Well. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, I mean, if they're clogged up, you can at least have a thing pointing, you don't walk around. And that wouldn't be that big a thing, because nothing's built out back there, just trees. But you could put the overpass for several million.
Yeah.
So just looking for funds to buy the right of ways.
Have they done a design on it yet or no?
No, it's just, we were talking about it the other day, and I just said, you know, if you could do that, you'd be a hero.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about, you know, always push Forest, but Forest is it ever gonna happen?
So buying a corridor would be expensive. For construction.
So,
You know what they're doing, getting construction funds.
you know, really easy. Coupon?
Never happened.
I never use them all, so.
We actually got a couple in Tremont this year,
Did they?
at least one or two, I think.
Got a sticky, me either, I gotta throw some more in my bag, need to remember to throw some in my thingy.
We're gonna come down to the planning commission tomorrow, just bring staff. And then we'll go in and do it.
There's some good stuff on there. We just stick them on the fridge or up on the dresser and have it someplace.
Got a regular pen?
I had it in the glove box in my car. pulled them out, and they're like 2 years old. Did you, gave a bunch of pins away yesterday, huh? 25 or 30 of them.
Really?
Yeah, spoke to Rotary yesterday, just wanted an update on what was going on in the county. So I spiked everybody.
So this guy is standing on the horse. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'll get you a copy of those.
So you just stood up?
So we just put them on the middle.
Sorry, I'm slow. I was looking.
Oh. Warrant register.
Just thought it was time to go back into the water.
Jaws reference? Is there only one place to sign this?
There should be two, because there's 2 weeks in between, let's see. Go a little further back. All right, let me call Tom real quick.
Tom just already brought that to you, didn't he?
Or,
Yeah, I was gonna say, usually there's the 2 places, the one for,
hi, hey, we've got the warrant register here, and it just has 1 week.
Usually has 2. Nice catch.
I just know that,
It's always
You're
been.
waiting on that? Okay. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Sure.
I'd entertain a motion to go into a closed session.
There'll be 3 next time. You're waiting on a wire transfer.
personnel. I'd make a motion that we move into a closed session to discuss personnel.
I got a motion by Commissioner, I better second that motion. I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott, a second by Commissioner Summers, all in favor?
Aye.
You'd think I'd be used to doing that, 2 thing.